Dear students, we shall now discuss the electric field due to an electric dipole along the equatorial plane or along the equatorial line. So here is the dipole AB. All the parameters have been already discussed, like for instance the distance between them, the dipole moment P vector. Now in this diagram, we have this plane, a rectangular plane here. This is the equatorial plane. And how do we call this as the equatorial plane? Because it is passing through the center, which is not very clearly seen in the diagram, but of course it passes through the center. It is not a hollow plane, it's a solid one. So it passes through O, and also it is perpendicular to the axial line. So here is the axial line. This plane is perpendicular to the axial line, and hence this is the equatorial plane. And the line OC here, which is on the equatorial plane and passing through the center as well, this is called equatorial line. So this derivation is basically both electric field along the equatorial plane as well as the equatorial line. So we're going to find out for this point the electric field due to the dipole, namely AB. So this diagram includes a few more things apart from what we have earlier seen. The triangle has been shown here with an angle theta from A as well as B, and the distance, the point in question from the center is R. Also we have marked this vector here, which is called the negative of the dipole moment vector. Now how do we proceed? We know we have to first find the electric field due to this charge. Then we have to go for the negative charge and find out the electric field separately. Drawing their directions and writing their magnitudes, we can combine them or add them vectorially to find the total electric field or net electric field. That of course is the superposition principle. So first we will see how the electric field due to the plus charge, namely E plus vector, will have as a direction, will look like. See here, this is the E plus vector. Do you know why this is in this direction? Obviously, if I consider a charge, a test charge, a positive test charge, or a unit positive charge located at the point C, let's say, so this is the positive charge located at C, this plus Q will repel this in the direction indicated. That will be the direction of the E plus vector. Now can you tell what is the direction of the E minus vector that is due to this one? Yes, we have to place a plus charge here, and then that will be attracted towards the minus charge, and hence the direction of E minus vector is like this. Look at the magnitude of these two E plus and E minus vectors. Are they different? No. Their magnitudes are equal because this point C is equidistant from A as well as B. So the magnitudes will not change, but the directions are different. We have now found out independently E plus and E minus vectors. Now what is the next thing? We have to add them vectorially. So there are different methods for adding vectors. Of course, we must know the parallelogram method, by which we have to construct the two vectors as adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So these two are the vectors, and then draw parallel lines to the other vectors so that we construct a parallelogram. So over here, let me draw a line parallel to this one. So if I draw a line parallel to this, you will get a line like this. And from here, let me draw another line parallel to the E plus vector, which should be like this. Now the resultant is basically the diagonal which is passing through the center or intersecting point. So this is a point of intersection. This will be the direction of the resultant, or this will be the resultant. Okay. So this represents our resultant. So this is the parallelogram method, and we have the formula also for that. But we are not going to do that in this derivation. There is the other method of dividing vectors or resolving vectors and using their components to find the resultant. That is what we will do. But this is one option we must know. So that will be the E total vector. Now we go to the derivation part. First, I've just drawn the triangle separately over here with all the parameters indicated. We would need the distances AC as well as BC for our calculation. I hope you understand this answer for AC as well as BC. We have used the Pythagoras theorem. This is a diagonal. So diagonal square, that is AC squared, should be equal to R squared plus A squared. So AC is the square root of that. Also later on we will use, or we will need, the cos of this theta, cosine of this theta angle. Cos theta is adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent side is A over hypotenuse is BC or AC, which is already derived. Now the electric field due to both the plus q and minus q charges are equal, the magnitude, that is. So E plus vector is magnitude, that is modulus, and as well as for the E minus vector. So what is the original formula for finding the electric field due to a point charge? It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r squared. Even earlier I would have told you, we should not substitute r in all the derivations. R is only the distance of the particular point in question from the charge. So you can see here, the point in question C is at a distance, this one BC, which is root of r squared plus a squared from both B as well as A. And denominator should contain the square of the distance. So if you square this one, you will get r squared plus a squared. Remember, you should not write r squared plus a squared the whole square. It is only r squared plus a squared in both E plus as well as E minus. Remember, we have only written the magnitude here and the direction is already shown here. Now, we will draw this portion alone separately so that the components method or the resolution method can be applied here, which is actually easier than the parallelogram method. So that is what we will apply now. I've just drawn this portion alone with additional lines for the y-axis as well as the x-axis. This angle is theta. You must also find out and then understand that this angle over here is also theta here, over here. Now let me divide this E plus as well as E minus into their vertical and horizontal components. So if I divide them into vertical and horizontal components, the horizontal component of E plus vector should be like this, in this direction. So this should be the horizontal component of E plus vector. The vertical component of that will be in this direction. Next, for the E minus vector, this should be the horizontal direction, horizontal component, and this should be the vertical component. Okay, so let me just bring that up here. So I have marked these components over here. So E plus cos theta, E minus cos theta, E plus sin theta and E minus sin theta. I hope you understand why the horizontal component is E plus cos theta and vertical component is E plus sin theta. Always remember, the component which is adjacent to the angle is the cos theta component, whereas the other component is the sin theta component. Had I marked the theta over here if I had marked the theta, this would be the E plus cos theta component and this would be the E plus sin theta component. Since the angle is over here, this is E plus cos theta and this is E plus sin theta. Same goes for the E minus vector as well. Now, a simple question. At point C, now can you tell how many vectors are totally acting here? Please count and tell or note it down. How many vectors are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have you written 6 as the answer? If you have written 6 as the answer, I am afraid you are wrong, because once you have resolved a vector into its two horizontal and vertical, the rectangular components, the vector itself has no role. In place of the original vector, we have marked two vectors here. So this E plus is not there. The same goes for the E minus vector. That has only been resolved as E minus cos theta and E minus sin theta. So the E minus itself should not be considered. So now can you tell how many vectors are there? Yes, there are only 4 vectors present. So the E plus and E minus goes off. Now this diagram is somewhat easier for us to work with, because these two vectors, namely the E plus sin theta and E minus sin theta, they are, you can see here, opposite in direction. And since the E plus and E minus themselves are equal in nature, already we have proved it. So this vector E plus sin theta will be exactly equal to E minus sin theta as well as opposite in direction, which means the vertical components are cancelled out. So now can you say how many vectors are acting at C? Yes, there are only 2 vectors acting at the point C, which are, there is horizontal components, E plus cos theta and E minus cos theta. They are both in the same direction and therefore it is easy to add them to get the resultant. So they have to be simply added up to get the resultant. And obviously the resultant is also in the same direction, since both of them are in the same direction, that is negative x direction. But of course, even in the axial line, we have not used I cap or j cap for the denotion of or notation of vectors. We have only used the p cap as the vectorial sign, or to denote the vector. In the same way here, look at the direction of E plus cos theta, this one, as well as E minus cos theta, as well as the E total. They are all in the direction of the negative p vector. So in order to write them along with the vector notation or direction, I have given the first vector, namely E plus cos theta, its magnitude, and minus p cap has been added here, minus p cap. So if I multiply minus p cap with the E plus cos theta, I will get a vector whose magnitude is E plus cos theta and the direction is along the direction of minus p. And we are only using p cap and not p vector because a p cap is a unit vector. So if I multiply that one with the E plus cos theta, so E plus cos theta into 1, this has a value of 1. Therefore, the value will not change. And the direction is indicated by the minus p. And the same goes with the E minus cos theta. So you are adding these. There is a minus here. So plus into minus is minus. So now we go for the further derivation. We have now placed everything all the required data over here. The last step was E total is equal to this one, and earlier we have written these two equations, as well as cos theta already we have noted down. Now in order to calculate this one, we have to substitute for E plus this as well as E minus this and then do the derivation. You can see here both are same, E plus and E minus are equal. So in place of E minus I can put E plus. So what happens to this equation now? Minus 2 into E plus cos theta p cap. So minus 2 into E plus is given by this value. You see here, you can write the magnitude simply as E plus, or you can write it like this also, E plus vector modulus. So that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R squared plus A squared. Cos theta is given by A by root of R squared plus A squared, and then a p cap. So the minus is retained here, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 QA divided by R squared plus A squared whole power 3 by 2. You understand how the 3 by 2 comes here? So here the power is 1 over here, and this alternatively could be written as R squared plus A squared whole power 1 by 2. So the powers get added, 1 plus 1 by 2 is 3 by 2. So that is what I get. So the final step therefore is E total is equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. You know this 2QA is the magnitude of the dipole moment, and if you multiply that with the p cap, this 2QA p cap becomes p vector and divided by R squared plus A squared whole power 3 by 2. So this is the general equation for any given point, whether the point in question is far away or at a closer distance from the dipole. We also know that when R is very much greater than A, that is when the distance of the point is far away, or if it is a far away distance from the dipole itself. A is a very small number, and if you square that, it is negligible. It can be neglected. So you'll be left with R squared whole power 3 by 2. So we have a power over another power. You have to multiply them. So it's R power 2 into 3 by 2. The 2 and 2 gets cancelled, so you are left with R cube. So you have an R cube in the denominator. All other things remain, and finally therefore the answer is E total vector is equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P vector divided by R cube. This concludes the derivation for the electric field due to an electric dipole along the equatorial plane or equatorial line. This again is a very important say 5-mark question for the examination. Students, please you refer the reader for the text that you have to write after the diagram is given. You have to draw the diagram, explain the diagram, and of course do the derivation and get final answer. And there will be some say conclusions that are given in write-up in the reader that also should be given in the examination to get full marks. Thank you.